And when we cannot tell the reason why, we just say, guys, it's a business reasons that we are not able to tell you the reason why. But right now we cannot do X, Y, Z because of a business reason, you know. So we're being very honest in that sense, and the fan have been very understandable. So far, honestly, a lot of the thing that the industry was telling me that I was crazy to trust devs and fan by allowing them to talk to each other without watching over their shoulder and things like that. All the bad stuff that people promised me would happen actually never happened. The only issue I had with that openness at the beginning for the first few months of the project was really the fact that I had too many troll hunter in the community. Yeah. So I had so many of our fans that wouldn't let anyone say something negative about the project. And I had to tell our loving fan that, guys, let the troll talk, because I need to know the good and the bad as well. So I need to know the bad. Sometimes trolls are not very polite in the way they say it, but doesn't matter. I still need that. Players are the one giving us money for us to provide them with an entertainment business. And the team and I would take this very, very seriously. And we know where we are in the food chain. And for us, the player is at the top of the food chain, and everybody else is below them, because the whole value chain of the gaming industry will not work if the industry doesn't provide fun and openness to the player base, because the players have become very intelligent. They really know what they want. And they don't get fooled anymore by cheesy marketing techniques or things like that. I mean, some of them still do, but it's a market where people are getting educated very, very quickly. And so you need to take players seriously, and you need to respect them. That's one of the people are laughing at me why I've never called our the player that gives us the most money, I never call them whales. I call them premium players, because I always found very bad to insult, calling them a big fat fish, you know, the people that gives you the most money. So I'd rather call them premium player versus whales.
I understand. Many people are asking me about the War Council.
The War Council,
how it works. How did you think about it? How it came to the concept of the game inside, and how it's gonna work. I mean, how it's gonna be decided, the players that they are gonna participate in the War Council.
So this is something that we haven't nailed down yet. It's a discussion. I mean, I know that we have a few design and that we're testing them internally. We haven't communicated to, when I say we, I mean Brent or David have not communicated the detailed structure of how it will work. But why did it came to us? It's simple, because without it, it's not 40K, basically, you know. It's the same reason why you asked me why did we decide on a realistic game, why we don't have quest, why is it PvP centric, why all these reasons are simple. The answers are why have we chosen the boys as free to play. Or the answer to all these questions is simple, because of our consumer promise, which is be an elite soldier in the 41st millennium. Space Marine don't fight alone. They fight in a leadership structure. Hierarchy and leadership in the 40K universe is extremely important. Everything is based on that. I mean, you can get killed for just not bowing to low enough to the right people in 40K. So this is very, very important. And on top of that, it is a military strategy representation, that 40K universe. So without leadership, without hierarchy, military strategy doesn't work. You know, it's called anarchy if you don't have that. So in order to make the gameplay realistic, you need that leadership structure, because you will have fights in the game that will require you to use real military tactic, like faking, attacking in the front, but keeping the main bulk of your army to attack from the back once all the force are in the front. All these type of mechanic, guerrilla, ambush, all these type of mechanic, you need a leader in order to implement these mechanic. Now, instead of just letting the player do whatever they want by themselves, like they did in EVE Online or in many other games where the players structure and arrange themselves outside the game, we decided to actually provide them with these leadership tools inside the game. But again, in the form of a system, not in form of rules and where we force you to do X, Y, Z, but we put the system in place and we watch you use them. That's the other reason why we have we say our game is a system-driven game, not a story-driven one. It's the same reason why we don't have quests, because if we start having a story-driven game with quests, the cost of the game increase drastically, and then we automatically fall into the very uncomfortable situation where we need to create content faster than our player consume the content. And that's not something that we want to get into. We want to build a car and watch you enjoy it and drive it, So these leaderships tool will allow your fan base to be a squad commander, which is 10 players. If they are very good squad commanders, they can be elected as a strike force commander, and all the strike force commander, which is 10 squad, and all the strike force commander can be elected on the War Council, which will give leadership guidelines and direction to the whole faction. Now, this is done always with positive reinforcement, never with negative reinforcement, meaning that you can, as a player, decide to not follow the guidance of your War Council, not follow the guidance of your strike force, and not follow the guidance of even of your squad. You can do whatever you want. With the impact and with the consequences of that choice, this is the same thing as a Space Marine not choosing not to obey his squad commander. There will be impact on that, but the impact is not us to decide. It's going to be the squad commander to decide what the impact is of one of his squad member not to obey his order. But that brings even more fun concept or possibilities. As an example, most likely one of the first faction I'll play when the game launch is going to be Orc. And even though I'll be a premium Orc, I hope that I'm going to be able to be a strike force commander, that people will flock to my strike force. And most likely on my strike force, where I'll have 10 squad, 3 of my squad will be filled with premium Orc. So players that have paid money and have bought the full game for $40. And most likely, my other 7 squad will be from free player. And I can guarantee you that most likely, again, because I don't know what's going to happen, it's never been done before, but most likely my leadership skills that I'll use for the premium player will have to be different than the one I'll use for the free player. Because the free player will say, I don't want to swear, but they say, who the XXX are you, And I'll have to say, you know what? Don't obey me because you respect my leadership. But if you do this, then I'll give you some of my own strike force requisition point as a reward. So basically bravery. So the free boys, I'll use bravery in order to convince them to behave the way I want them to behave in my military strategy. And the premium player, my premium orcs, most likely my leadership is going to be good enough. I won't need to bribe them. They'll just obey whatever I'm going to tell them to obey. This is just hypothesis, but just thinking about it, I get excited because this is going to be a meta game for people that select to become a leader, where they will have for real to practice their leadership skills, and we will provide them with tools to reward players and to help them convince players to behave in a way wanted by them. Because at the end of the day, leadership definition, the military definition of leadership, is the art to influence people's behavior in the way wanted by the leader. And that's really what we want the leaders of Eternal Crusade to do throughout their gameplay once the game is launched.
Miguel, Elysium Gaming played many MMOs that had mass PvP so far. name it. Dark Age of Camelot, Warhammer Online, everything.
Mm-hmm. Can you repeat the question? I missed the first part.
Excuse me?
Sorry, I missed the first part of your question.
Oh no, I didn't question yet. I
Oh,
said
okay.
I didn't ask you anything yet. I'm just telling you that we played a lot of mass PvP
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
far in
Yeah.
many games. Uh,
Did you see the recent announcement from PlanetSide 2 that they're going to try to break the Guinness World Record with 1,100 players in the same battle?
that's my question.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
In most of those games, actually, in every single one of those games, we had the same problem: lag,
Yeah.
lag, lag, unplayable lag.
Mm.
How
There's.
can you fix it? How can you
Mm.
guarantee that our fun is not gonna be destroyed by that damn lag?
Yeah.
I don't want lag.
So, no, exactly. So there's lots of tools that we have available now that these games didn't have available once they got built, you know? So as an example, I cannot guarantee you no lag whatsoever. And I'm the same way that I was very clear to you that in terms of design, it's the core team designing the game, not me. I'm just an inspiration for them. In terms of technology, it's the same thing. I mean, I cannot. I'm not a technologue. You know, I'm not the lead programmer. Patrick Baltazar is. It would be a lot better to answer that. But I can tell you tools that we have now that when I say we, the industry has now that we didn't have before. So as an example, our game will not be hosted on physical server. They will be hosted in the cloud. Cloud technology today can provide better performance than hosting your own server in a private hosting center. You know, the cloud now allows you to be all over the world, and you're talking about some of the cloud that we've had discussion with, like Google Cloud as an example. They're down to 40, 50, 60 milliseconds in terms of latency. And actually the marketing number they gave us was even lower than that. That's faster than big, powerful servers physically hosted in a physical co-location business. So that's one tool that help us increase the performance of the game. The other thing is the PCs have grown tremendously over the past few years. That's another thing that's going to help us. And third, there's a lot of different technology that manage the way bandwidth is used between the client and the server. And there's a lot of secret sauce that the core tech team working on Eternal Crusade are working on solution for that. Really, the moment that the team will be able to be less general or less high in the answer of your question is when we're going to start doing beta testing, which some beta testing will be with the community will start being done in 2015 as well. I had the confirmation for production that's going to happen somewhere in 2015. And once we start doing load testing and these type of thing, we'll be able to commit ourselves better on making sure that there's no lag. But if we want to meet our consumer promise, be an elite soldier of the 41st millennium, I don't see how we can do that without having a seamless, lagless battle. If it's a PowerPoint presentation, the battle, then I don't think that that would allow us to meet our consumer promise. But in today, the games being done or starting being done now have access to way more very cool technology versus what we had before.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
Yes, okay, lag, it's understandable. I mean, unplayable lag is the issue, because we had in some cases delays for 30 seconds to cast an ability or something. But yeah, now we are more optimistic after your explanation, and we thank you for that.
Thank you. It's not. I haven't say yes. I promise. Because we are still early in the development of the game.
Yeah, it's
There's still things
understandable.
that exactly.
It's
So,
understandable.
but it's in everybody's mind all the time.
No, no, please continue.
No, no, I say it's in the team and the developer. They have that in mind all the time.
Yeah,
Quality and performance is an element that is part of quality.
yeah, I understand. And that's how they should do. I think that's why, because you saw us from the first moment how much dedicated you are, the whole team to the game. That's why it's so attractive to us.
Thank you.
Um, I wanted to ask you. One day you explained in an interview, but it was not so much understandable from many from my community members from my community
It's probably my French
about the
accent.
resources in the battle during the battle. You said that's also something very realistic that it's gonna happen in the game. That I didn't get it exactly. That as long you fight and you go further and further in the deeper inside the middle of the planet, the resources are gonna be harder to come to you, or the line it's gonna the battle line is gonna be
Okay, you're talking
big.
about territory. Okay, you're talking about territory control mechanic.
Exactly.
Um,
And
what I was
reinforcements, actually, reinforcement. You
correct.
understand what?
So this is something that we should organize another presentation with your whole community. But this time, instead of having just an executive like myself, but having someone from design explain this to you, because from what you're mentioning is something that I've talked long time ago, and there's a lot of update on that. Basically, what you're talking about is in terms of the territory control.
Exactly.
We call the dynamic battle line or battlefront, the dynamic battlefront. And I was talking about the different mechanic in order to increase the size and push for your territory to get larger and larger and larger. That was one of the mechanic that you're mentioning. The other mechanic is the one I was mentioning you was that further away you are from your home fortress, the more costs, the more requisition point you have to pay to spawn vehicle and things like that. This is basically when we're talking about realism. This is your logistic line, we call it, in the real army. So basically, you have to, if you need to fight a war very far away from your home, then the cost of fighting that war is always more expensive than if you fight close to your home base. And vice versa. So if you're being attacked by Space Marine and you're Eldar, and you're being forced, your back is being forced towards your own fortress, then you'll be able to spawn vehicle faster, and it's going to be cheaper in terms of requisition point to spawn anything like that. This is to represent the impact of being far from your homeland in a military conflict. Now, this is something that I've discussed like many months ago. Since then, I know the design team have evolved drastically on that design, but I'm not comfortable enough to tell you all the updates about that. This is something that you could work with Cathy to organize another stream with either Brent, Alexi, or David, and it can explain to you in details how the territory control mechanic works and how the different safety net for balancing between different faction works. Because what you're saying is the pitch, the original pitch that I did a while back, but we've worked on it and improved it a lot since then. But I'm not familiar with it enough to explain it here. I don't want to make any stupid mistakes. So I take my executive role very seriously, meaning that I know what I know and I know what I don't know, and I don't try to look like I know what I don't know. That's when you go down to that level of details in terms of design. Because of our responsibility of being true to the community, I prefer it's the designer that tell you about that.
That's very,
I,
very
I
interesting.
personally, I personally hate when exec are acting like they are, either designer or programmer or technologue or anything like that. Like I know what I'm good at, and I just focus on that, and I keep focusing on that, and I leave the rest to my team, who are a billion times better in these verticals of the business of making a video game.
That's nice. Um, One more. I'm gonna make you three small questions that you can answer them in all at one. First of all, for a new player in the MMO genre, is it gonna be an easy game to adapt it, or it's gonna be hard? Secondly, the opposite. For the hardcore players, is it gonna be challenging? And thirdly, because all of us, we get older and older and older, we become casual and more casual players. Is it gonna be things for the casual players inside the game that they will not feel useless?
Um, there's one saying that David, my creative director, taught me in the video game, and this is something that is shared by the whole dev team. A great game design should always be easy to play, hard to master. So that should be any game design. And Eternal Crusade, it is something that I keep repeating, but people keep forgetting. It is a skill-based game. Skill-based game, not a stat-based game. Skill-based game means what? Means your ability with the gamepad and with your brain and with your wording, because when you'll talk to people or you'll chat with them, how you can influence them as a leader. If you're talking to somebody else in a different faction, how you can lie to them without looking like you're lying, or and in terms of your skill with the gamepad, how you can block, how you can avoid, how you can do this, and everything about who you are is really what will make you win in Eternal Crusade and be successful, not where your character is at. That, honestly, we really feel like a year after the game is launched, you have one guy that is playing 10 hours a week, Eternal Crusade, for a full year, and you have a new guy that just jumped in, and if that new guy is way more agile and way more skilled with the gamepad and with his brain versus the other one, he's going to kill the other one, because the game is skill-based. So what we provide you and what the progression is giving you more tools to wage war, but it doesn't really makes you stronger. It's at the beginning of the game, you know, this is what, when we talked about side grades and things like that, is the same mechanical, same concept. I mean, you'll always have, throughout your progression, you'll unlock new abilities, new character, new loadout, but these loadout always have a very strong stat, and they have a weakness as well. So it's not like one is bigger and stronger than the other. If you get your one-year-old Space Marine and the newbie that just come in, if you were able to remove armor and just get them naked, they will be almost the same strength. And again, that's to represent the reality and to be true to the lore. Because at the end of the day, if you, a new Space Marine, a Space Marine that just got a gene seed, is just starting to wage war, and versus an old Space Marine that is like 500 years old, that has waged numerous war, that old Space Marine in a duel with just one sword can still lose against the young one. What will make the veteran Space Marine survive on the battlefield versus the young one is his skill and his knowledge. That's what will give him an advantage. Not his armor, not the fact that, you know, he is a devastator, or he's a that doesn't change anything, because the other one can use you know, the mechanic that Alexei talked in one of his interviews. Alexei is our combat designer. He talked about the combat mechanic being rock, paper, scissors. You know, for each attack that you receive, there is a protection against that attack and a counter-attack to that attack. So it's really about who chooses the right move at the right time to block the opponent. Has nothing, again, to do with how long you've been playing the game, all that. It happens live. So everything is based on skill. So yes, the game will be easy for casual players, in the sense that if I'm a casual player, I'll go in doing some PvE, fighting against Tyrannid. If I'm a casual player, I'll make sure that I don't go in a very small strike force to go take upon a way tougher enemy. I'll just make sure that I follow the group of my friend to make sure that what I don't have in skills, I compensate with numbers. Yeah, I'm not very good, but look at all my friends behind me, you know, that type of approach. So we expect players to basically play the game based on their own style. Again, we go back to why we chose a game that is system-driven, not story-driven, because with a game that is system-driven, it allows the player to decide on his own experience. So if I'm a noob, I just won't jump in my two-sided bike, two-car bike, and go straight towards the Chaos Fortress alone and just come on and then shoot the fortress. No, I'll do stuff that is linked to the type of experience I want to live. And the good part of it is that sometimes that casual player has had a terrible day at work. He's been screamed at, insulted, and he couldn't reply to his boss because he would lose his job, and he brings that whole frustration home. And you know what? He wants to blow out some steam. So yes, that casual player is going to look for the biggest, most bloody battle in the game and go blow some steam. But most of the time, usually, he will not do that. He'll stay with his team. He'll be part of different, less intense battle, or he'll play the campaign system. The campaign system are generated mission, or I don't want to say quest because they're not quests, but they're elements that are generated by the dev team that changes the rhythm of the game. So if you don't feel like doing your own strategy and your own thing and talking to your squad and go do this, if you just want to relax and be led in Eternal Crusade, then you can select an objective in the campaign system that we'll have. As an example, the campaign system objective could be bring this very rare artifact from point A to point B using this vehicle. And then the only thing is that, there's two enemy territories that you need to cross between point A and point B. So you're going to do this at night. If you're an Eldar, you'll use a class that has a cloaking mechanic to make sure that you're not being seen and things like that. And that's a very important gameplay mechanic where we want to have different speed level inside Eternal Crusade. Sometimes you just need to blow some steam, and sometimes you want to scratch your head and invent a very evil, Machiavellic military strategy to attack your enemy, and a huge bloody battle. Other times you just want to go and explore the world and the universe. So it really, we're giving that system to the fan, and again, we just want them to enjoy the game the way they want to enjoy the game. We really don't want to, if I go back to my comparison for the Big Mac and the very nice French cuisine, we found, the dev team and I, we agree that a lot of video games right now is packaged as a very precise experience, and then the industry is saying, here it is, heat it and enjoy it like this. That's it. Versus us, we decided on a more open approach where we create system and we give you the system and we watch you enjoy this system and do what your creativity allows you to do using this system. And we're going to be watching you guys do a lot of stuff that, yeah, some of it we designed and that's exactly what we wanted you to do, building this system. But other stuff, I'm pretty sure that you'll do with the system we're building, will be very surprised. It's like, oh my God, we never thought about that. This is super cool, type of thing. So that's really the philosophy behind the way we are building Eternal Crusade.
Many people, they didn't understand exactly the payment method of the game. Is it going to be a pay-to-play? Is it going to be a buy-to-play? A subscription? How it's gonna work?
Subscription, it is for an online game. It is the easiest way or a business model, and the one that impacts design the least. But it's a dead business model, unfortunately, for good or bad reason. So this is something that we really could not even entertain to have mandatory subscription. So what we decided to do is we looked at all the different MMOs that came out in the last few years, and the one that have been successful the most in terms of commercial success is Guild Wars 2. And Guild War 2 business model is buy to play. And we decided on the same approach. So once the game is launched officially, the game is going to cost $40. That's it. That's all. So it's a buy to play game, and that's it. Now, there's a very important point to that is the in-game store. What today is called the Founder Store, not the Founder Store, sorry, the Rogue Trader Store. These items, what we have in the store, we've changed our approach because at the beginning we wanted to monetize aesthetic, heroes, what we call side grades, and consumable and the rest, you know. But in terms of the side grades, the community was very, very resisting it because of it's not just our community, but it's the whole video game player community is getting very sensitive and allergic to pay-to-win mechanic. And pay-to-win mechanic is something that really upset them. I mean, the players today perceive this almost as a religious subject, you know. So it's very important to them that pay-to-win mechanic is not present in Eternal Crusade, and they felt like side grades, monetizing side grades and things like that was getting too close to pay-to-win mechanic. So we decided to, in September, did a post in the forum, and based on the feedback of the fan, we pulled back from monetizing side grades. So I can tell you now that, and this is something, because again, I'm not doing it, we're not doing it exactly like the others. So I cannot tell you that all the items in the store are aesthetic only, because that's not true. But I can tell you that the spec of all the items in the store can be found in other items without paying inside the game.
Oh, yes.
So the items that you buy in the store have a complete exclusive look, an exclusive design, an exclusive story behind them, but their actual stats could be found in a different but similar look weapon or items inside the game. On top of that,
it's actually only cosmetics, just to have more flavor in our game and more fun and more personalization.
It is and it's not, because the item that you can find equivalent to the one you bought in the store that you can find in games, well, first of all, you need to find it, you know, in the game, right?
How do you find an item in the game? You kill someone and you steal it, or what?
Loot and undergrounds and part of the PvE element as well, and part of the campaign system as well. And,
so
and there's a lot of
MIguel Caron logs in the game with his character, and I kill him.
Yes,
because you are the man. You will give me the best weapon in the game.
No, that doesn't work that way.
Don't drop anything.
No, there's going to be many different mechanics inside the game where you will get drops and loot. To know in detail what these mechanics are, again, we should organize the meeting with the presentation with the designers. But what I'm saying is these items that you buy in a store, you can equip them if you unlocked if you have enough requisition point, and if you progressed enough for that item, you can unlock it and use it right away. Versus the other one is based on luck. So the one you have in the store can always be found in game, but in the store, there's no luck. You just buy it and you have it. In game, you need to do either a mission or campaign or other stuff like that to get it. Now, over and above all of this, this is very, very at the beginning in terms of the design, and this is something that David in the next few months will discuss with you guys a lot more. But David as well has decided that in order to make sure that it might be possible sometimes that we'll have an item in a store that really will not have an exact equivalent in game. As an example, the attack bag with the sidecar for the founders, okay? For items that will not have a complete and direct equivalent, David is working on a mechanic to be able to win Rogue Trader points throughout your gameplay inside the game. So a little bit like League of Legends, where if you play for X amount of time, you can actually win enough points to buy an hero in League of Legends. well, David is working on a mechanic to allow you to get rewarded in premium currency for whatever you do in the game. Now, how much and how much work you have to do for how many points and all of these things, I'm not aware exactly of the detail of that. This is something that David can talk to you guys in the next few years coming, but that's the last safety net to make sure that there's going to be no pin to win at all, is that you can still win RTP in-game, which will allow you to get, if one item squeeze in the store that cannot have an exact equivalent without pay, well, this is another safety net to allow the players that only spend $40 to get the same exact experience as someone that's giving us $100,000.
Is there gonna be an economy inside the game? Is there gonna be gold or something to trade, vendors or whatever? Will we be able to buy or sell?
So all these questions, John, my answer is simple. What is our consumer promise? Be an elite soldier of the 41st millennium. Can I do a little contest with your community? Just for the fun, do you have something to give them? I'll give them my thank you, okay? Let's try something to see if they know the 40K universe very well. And it's directly linked to your question. And let's see as well, John, if you know the answer. In the 40K universe, what is the main currency?
What is that?
The main currency.
The main god.
The main currency, the main money.
I don't know. Blood, kill, death.
See, you don't know, and there's a reason why.
It's not mustaches, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's not mustache. No, it's not mustache.
It's not.
But the reason why you don't know is because it's not really present in the universe. So what we have in Eternal Crusade is our. I'm trying to watch. I'm watching your chat, and no one of your fans has wrote it yet. No, I'm talking about the one from the Imperium. Teeth is the one for the orcs. Souls is the one for chaos, obviously. But the economy in the lore is a war economy. Basically, I've never heard of Space Marine actually buying something. You know, a Space Marine don't buy anything. They're just being given stuff. Same thing with the Eldar. So what we have is what we call a war economy. And the war economy is something very basic. Again, if you want to know the detail of that, it's done by, it's something that David and Brent can tell you about it. But this is going to be very light. Same thing with what we call crafting. Beside the Dorn and Fulgrim, that each of them made a weapon for the other as a gift. It's very rare that you'll see a Space Marine hammering a sword with a hammer, building his own weapon. What you'll see, it's them, and that's the same thing we're going to do in Eternal Crusade. You'll see them upgrading their weapon by putting in a new module, connecting a new module to their gun or thing like that. But there's not gonna be crafting the way it's seen in other games, because again, it will be to go against lore. And I'm trying to talk a lot to Gelt. Here we go. I was looking for your chat, and I think what's his name? Bajinda and Martellus got it. Thrones and Thrones Gelt. That's the Imperium money. But it's not used and it's not talked about. So this is exactly. So there's something that we're gonna keep very basic. We're gonna keep it, and we call it war crafting and war economy.
Inside the game, okay, we know the 5 factions so far.
Mm-hmm. The what? The 5 faction? Which is the fifth one?
The 5 armies.
Which is the 5th one?
One, it's NPC, I think.
Oh, the Trinity. Okay, yeah. Well, that's
I count
our
them also.
faction.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
are we gonna have any surprises? Are we gonna meet a common enemy that we don't know yet?
Uh, okay, now the problem is that Ivan is on the stream, so I cannot tell you anything because
Oh, come on.
Ivan is our narrative designer, and he's 6'7", and he's about 300 pounds. So I'd rather not, and I know he's listening, so I'd rather not say. But needless to say is that honestly, we have the four faction and we have four sub faction per faction,
Yeah.
with this fifth sub faction being the Space Marine, the Tyranid. And we've promised the fan that we would vote soon on a fifth sub faction. This is something that I know David Gislain, our art director, as well as Ivan, are working very hard on. You know as well that working hand in hand as a partner to Ivan is Graham McNeil, who is the one of the most known 40K writers. Graham with Ivan have worked on our background story of Arcona. Where does it fall into the universe? You know, Arcona is in the Caron system, which is close to the Eye of Terror in the obscure sector, obscurum or obscurum sector, and they have a very cool approach to the lore, and it's you will see that by the end of the month. You'll see how will be done by Ivan by the end of this month.
Okay, for
And
your
yes,
safety, we will wait until
and yes,
then.
you will have surprise, and yes, there's gonna be things that are very well known in the 40K universe that are gonna influence what's happening on Arcona. But I really don't want to say anything because last time I said something about this, Ivan started doing misinformation to the whole community to make sure that they would lose track of the truth. From what I said, so this is where he started saying that we're gonna have a potato field on Arcona and we're gonna have a water park for the orcs and things like that. So I'd rather not blow any secret and let you discover it by the end of the month next month. But yes, you'll see some very known figures, some very
excited.
known stuff influencing Arcona in the next few months.
Okay, that's hype now. But
Okay.
also, some friends of mine in the forums from Eternal Crusade, of course, great site.
Thank you.
They asked me to ask you and to explain a little bit about elites and heroes.
Okay.
What are they? How are they gonna work in the game? And I know that you are asked many times, but when are we gonna see them? Are we gonna see them from the beginning, or they are gonna be available in the future?
Okay. So again, I can answer you philosophically speaking at a high level. Okay. I can tell you what our vision is regarding this, but don't take everything I'm telling you as a promise. I know that the design team is working very hard on this. And again, this is a detailed, we can go down in the details more when the design team is present. But so the hero system is basically, I was about to give you a comparison to hockey, but hockey has not played a lot in the, but let's say soccer. Soccer is very well played. So football, Greeks play football. So
We think so, but we are not so good.
so if you look at a football game, the hero system into Crusade for the squad or for the strike force or for the whole faction is the same mechanic and purpose as taking your goalie away from the goal to add one more attacker to the team. So basically, hero system, a hero, it's very expensive. Not in cash, not in real cash, but in requisition point, it's very expensive to spawn. Is the only character that it is really at one special moment more powerful than most. But the way it happens is when he uses his power, first of all, we make it very clear that one hero was spawned in that battle. So both the enemies and the allies know that there's an hero that was spawned. That hero, when makes an attack, can be a huge attack. It can be a game changer. But if that hero is killed, it brings a lot of reward to the opposing party. And if the hero is spawned not at the right moment and is killed very quickly, that can be a game changer for the enemy. And that can make the faction, the squad, the squad force actually lose that battle. So it's a tool to change the direction of a battle, that has the potential to change the direction of a battle, but a tool that needs to be used diligently, and you need to think about it very, very well before you use that tool. Because as an example, okay, I'm going to give you an example that actually might not be in game, but that was an example that was given to me like this by the design team. So an example, you spawn a super powerful chaos sorcerer, and his ability as a hero, so one of the one that we have in the store right now, and his ability is to tear an opening in the warp and have hordes of demon pour through that opening, as an example. Yeah. Okay. Now, once he makes that spell, which is going to have a very, very long cooldown, obviously, he becomes super weak and with really not a lot of stamina, not a lot of endurance for getting hit, nothing like that. So when the team decide to spawn that hero and he launches power, you have to make sure that once the power is launched, that hero is protected by a squad or by other people to make sure that the opposing team doesn't kill him afterwards, to get all the other reward attached to killing a hero. So that's the philosophy behind heroes in Eternal Crusade. So it's a tool that is expensive to use. It cannot be used by a single person. It's usually used by a squad or strike force or the whole War Council. And when used, everyone on the battle knows that someone has been spawned and is being used, and everyone now has the eyes on that hero. Half of the battlefield wants to protect him, and the other half of the battlefield wants to nail him. So that's the mechanic behind the hero, the philosophy.
To be honest, that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to see it in game. Honestly, it's intrigue.
Yeah, think about it. Let's say the Space Marine spawn an hero. You know, the Chaos side is gonna hear like something like, you know, with a God ray from the battlefield with a big spotlight on that new hero being spawned. You know, with sparkles around it and the aura of the Emperor surrounding it. You know, so all the Chaos players will see that and will you know, focus on nailing him, while obviously all the Space Marine will want to protect him, and that's gonna completely change the trend or the speed of the current battle, and that's the type of thing that we want to have.
That's great. People here are asking if we are gonna have Terminator armor or Terminators in the game, Terminator crew Predators.
Yeah. So if you remember, John, in November, December, yeah, I was telling the community that at the beginning we wanted to explain what the game is going to be. So we were very large in terms of showing, you know, all the different features that we want to have in the final product. Okay, but then at one point, because of all the other reasons I told you that we don't have the same velocity as a big studio, we needed to focus on really the core mechanic to make sure that at the really basic mechanic are polished to perfection. So this is where I started telling you guys that we'll start talking less about breadth and more about depth of Eternal Crusade. So less chit-chatting about everything and more very detailed discussion and deep discussion about one particular features. Now, when I say this, there's a lot of, you know, Terminator, dreadnoughts, flying vehicles, fifth faction, the Tau as a fifth faction. All these type of aspects are things that we will look at one point in time throughout the process of developing the game, but it's really not the focus of the team right now. Right now, the focus of the team, it's the core and the basic. Once the basic work, once we, the founders are able to access our game, to play our first build, at that point in time, when this is done and they love the mechanic, they love the gameplay, they find it fun, they find it engaging and immersive and all this thing, then we will look at opening up the funnel to talk about what's going to come first in the game as a feature, what's going to be before launch, what's going to be after launch, what is going to be added, what's going to be cut if there's anything cut, what's going to be postponed if there's anything postponed, or put earlier if we need to put it earlier. So all these questions will be answered after we finish what we're doing now, which is the core basic, very polished, and have you play our current build. Once this is done, then we will start opening the funnel and taking into or taking in charge of other aspects of the project that we've been kind of silent about in the past year.
Something about the guilds. I will call them guilds in terms of people that they are not familiar with Warhammer to understand what I mean. How can this game be attractive for a guild? For example, Elysium Gaming. We play always together. We go as a guild in a specific game and we play. First of all, how can we create a guild in the game? And so what benefits are we going to have as a guild? I mean, is there any housing? Do we have our specific vehicles, or I don't know what? Can you explain a little bit that process?
So, so first of all, the first project that we have is related to guild is something very, very similar as what we did with Star Citizen. You know, John, that Star Citizen is my other project at Behavior.
Yeah.
And if you go
Great
on this,
game, guys.
Thank you. If you go on the Robert Space Industry website and you click on community and you click on organization, organization is the way Star Citizen calls guild. And you'll see that within the Star Citizen website that is made by Turbulent, who are our partner as well for Eternal Crusade. They're the one making our store, the background, the website and everything. That system where you can create the guild, like you yourself, John, you'll be able to create your own Elysium Brotherhood page within our website. You'll be able to invent the history of your brotherhood, of your guild, basically, within the 40K lore. You'll be able to tell the other brotherhood or the other guild what type of community you are. Are you a hardcore community? Are you a casual community? And all the different rules. So basically, it's going to be very similar to what you see in Star Citizen, but adapted to the 40K universe. That's going to be the first project. Now, in terms of game mechanic, guild are not their guild is not forced to be represented inside the actual game as a guild, meaning, like, let's say Elysium Gaming, you guys have 100 members, so you know what, logically you could create a strike force. 10 squad is all the players of Elysium Gaming. I don't know how many you are in your guild, but let's say it's on 100 to make it simple. You actually don't have to make it directly like that. You know, you could create 2 strike force. One is half your guild, but it happens to be the hardcore player of your guild, and the other one could be the other half of your guild, but it happens to be the casual player of your guild. And you have 2 strike force, one for casual player and one for hardcore player. This is something, again, that I hate patronizing players, and this is something that the industry does often, and I don't want to you know what patronizing means, like me forcing players to behave a certain way. This is something I hate to do. So as when I can, I try to stop from doing that. So the guild system usage inside the game is going to be depending of the guild master. If you, John, you decide that your guild on the website, the way you're going to represent it, Elysium Gaming, is a clear strike force in the game, and that's it. You only accept in your strike force people from Elysium Gaming. Well, you can do that. It's up to you. The tools is there to do that. But if, again, you want to split your guild in many pieces, or you don't even want your guild to be in a different group inside the Eternal Crusade, it's completely your choice. We will not force it. But we create the tools to do either or. So you can bring Elysium Gaming as basically a sub-chapter by itself. I'm exaggerating. It's not going to be a sub-chapter, but I'm talking about its own group, and you will not accept anyone but your fan in that strike force, or you can be more open and do whatever you want. It's really up to you, my friend.
Yeah, that's great. Are you going to have a way to reward individual players, in-game, I mean, reward, and also to reward, I mean, for their efforts and for their performance to be rewarded? And are you going to have a way to, or an option to reward a guild, a whole guild?
This is a very good question, and my instinct is to answer yes, because I heard Brent and the designer talking about that, but this is, again, I'm sorry, I hope that your community understand that I'd rather tell you that I'm an exec and I'm not a designer, so I'd rather not say stupid stuff than tell you things that are not true. But allow me to tell you my opinion. My opinion is I'm pretty much certain that Brent, David, and Alexi have something in mind to make sure that guild are rewarded for working together. But this is not something I can confirm, unfortunately. But please do bug them on Twitter, on Facebook, and on the forums. Ask them the question and they will answer you right away. And please share the answers as well. I know I'll be going asking him the answer right after.
I think we already spoke enough about the in-game things, but we must not forget that behind that game there is a company. It's behavior. And I want to speak with you a little bit about the unseen heroes in behavior. Which is the developers, the whole team, etc., etc. Yes, even you, Katie. So, tell me something. How do you plan to compete as a game and as a company against the huge companies, the powerhouses? I mean, what do you offer different or better than the other games that you think that it's gonna make this game successful and okay to stay for a long time in the business?
It's a tough question to answer. So just so you know a little bit, and to correct something that you said at the beginning of the interview, I'm not the owner or in charge of behavior. I'm in charge of, I was hired 2 years ago to create behavior online. So the online division of behavior. Behavior has been around for 21 years, and I'm an executive at behavior, but I'm not a shareholder or a founder, or I don't have equity in the company. Behavior is a company that's been around for 21 years. They have an office here in Montreal as well as in Chile. So I was just hired to do that mandate, to create the online studio. And so I cannot tell you a lot about, behavior vision or anything like that. This is something that a question should be asked to behavior's stakeholder or shareholder. But if I talk about the project and the team itself, about the online studio, I can tell you that the reason why I brought this team together is really because I was in love with the core team, with the team itself. The team are coming from a lot of different companies, a lot of different businesses, but together I really think that we have one of the strongest online team in the industry, both in terms of their experience as well as their mentality and their philosophy and how do they want to interact with the community, and how do they perceive the player in terms of the food chains. The team and I, we perceive the player as being our ultimate client, if I can say it this way. So in terms of how do we compete against all these other very large IPs and big money, well, the answer is quite simple, actually. I mean, at the end of the day, if you make a good game that is fun and entertaining, and if you adopt a philosophy of being honest, truthful, and transparent, both internally within your own dev team as well as towards your customer, towards the players, I think that by itself is a very good help to be able to succeed. Now, on top of that, it's what I was telling you at the beginning of the discussion. We want to make sure that we have unique selling point inside the game, that we have game mechanic that has never been done before or never been done that way before. Or we want to create very intense level of emotion, but in different ways, not just by ganking on people or just killing people, things like that. We want to really make people immerse themselves into our universe and meet our consumer promise, which I told you before is be an illustrator of the 41st millennium. So I think that by engaging the fan like we did from the beginning, making sure that we have the best possible team focused on creating unique selling point and not just recreating mechanic that already exists, and choosing one of the best possible IP in the world, I think that these three things are very good ingredient to maximize our chance of success. But obviously, we live in a corporate world. There is a lot of things that can happen, so it's never a guarantee of. But I think that we approach the project in a way to mitigate as much as we can all the extra risk.
That's a fair answer, to be honest, and I'm satisfied.
Thank you. It's the most fair I can give you, you know. So one day, if people like ourselves, if there's more and more studio doing like we're doing, being completely transparent and being very respectful towards their fan community, maybe, you know, in a utopian world, secret and deception will not or will happen less and less in the industry. But this is something that over Dead Body for the dev team and I, it's been very, very important, is that we are engaged by a community and by Games Workshop to create the first epic 40K MMO, and we're really committed to do that. And to do it with you guys, and to do it hand in hand with the community.
To be honest, MIguel, it's not only the gameplay that is important for us, the players, because to be honest, myself, I play since the beginning of the gaming almost. I was in Atari consoles, the very first ones, then Amiga, you know, and since now I played almost every single MMO, and it's the first time, and I guarantee that, and it's my personal, not opinion, statement, that you are the most friendly company and you have the best interaction with your customers. And that's for me the bet that you already won even before the release of the game. And that's why you have, I don't know how many fans, I hope it's gonna be millions at the end of the years, but you already have loyalists. You're the emperor.
Yeah, thank you. Just make sure that that loyalty is not towards me, but it's toward the dev team, because they're the one that are really creating that product. So I might be sounding like a scratched disc, but that's very important. I'm not the one creating value; they're the one creating the value. So your love and loyalty and respect has to go towards them.
Because we already speak for 2 hours, and I know that you are probably tired.
No, never tired to speak with my community. I always enjoy it.
Thank you.
But it's good.
I just don't want to, you know, to make you feel tired.
Comfortable. It's okay.
Yes, I don't want to be like a dictator here. I'm gonna ask you some questions, and you're gonna answer me with one word.
Okay.
Katie Fleming.
Amazing.
Okay, that was not fair.
Well, you said one word.
That's typical. We know that she's amazing. We want something more. You can do
Uh,
better. She told us your dark secrets
she's
sometimes, so you must strike
completely
back.
Katie is completely dedicated to the community. She is a true representative of the community, and I know when the community is upset because when I come to the office, Katie is upset. That means the community is upset. If Katie is happy, it means the community is happy.
Okay. I know that I don't know if it's all or just one of your children. He likes orcs.
Yeah,
That,
my youngest son loves orcs. He thinks that the orcs are bullied by all the other factions in the 40K universe, that the orcs only want to have fun and wage war, and everybody else just hates them for no reason. He really loves them.
so
He's
answer
13 years
me.
old, by the way.
Orcs. Comment.
You'll, orcs? Uh, uh, wait. Let me. Orcs. Brutal and cunning, but cunning and brutal.
Um,
Do you know who I just cited? This is Gork and Mork. Gork is cunning but brutal, and Mork is brutal but cunning. Is the
by
two
the way,
gods?
as many
These are the two
people,
orcs gods.
as many people pointed, not just now in our stream, but from the beginning when you announced it and you explained it for the very first time, for me it was the most realistic and the most clever and strategical decision that you took to make orcs one specific orc free to play. I mean, Euroc. It was very clever. I think it's very realistic, same timely, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to see so many people that they are gonna even don't know what the game is to run around as an orc and behave like an orc stupidly.
Exactly. This is very important for us. By the way, I just got cut by Commissar Moustache. Yes, I meant because I think I said uh, Mork and Gork. It's Gork and Mork.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Uh, One question: How? First of all, do you want to comment anything about that decision about the orcs, or it's okay? Because we.
Well, everybody knows about why we chose the Orc Boys as our free-to-play faction because they basically we wanted again for immersion purposes not to put paywalls, illogical paywalls for our free-to-play faction. Now, the limitation that you have as an Orc Boys that is a free-to-play character is only the type of limitation that our Orc Boys would have anyway, you know? So as an example, a boy cannot be a squad leader. Why? Well, I'd like to see a boy go to a knob in real life and say, oh, by the way, I'm taking your squad, move away. I don't think that would happen. He would get eaten by the knob. So that's the reason why we choose the boys as the free-to-play faction. But it goes in line with the realism that we discussed at the beginning, where we want every faction to represent, like Nicolas is making sure that the UI is representing of every faction, and not only every faction, even every sub-faction. So as an example, the Space Wolf will have their Frost Axe as an example, which is a very specific Space Wolf weapon. We didn't want to just have the different armor color. We wanted to represent each faction and each sub-faction the right way. That's a bit one of the reasons why a lot of the fans are keep asking us why, because we call Eternal Crusade, why don't we have the Black Templar? Well, the Black Templar, their second founding chapters, the fact that they hate Psyker that much, they would create a design nightmare to be able to work with the other Space Marine sub-faction. And in terms of the whole lore, it's a headache. that we don't want to address right away. So that's one of the reasons why Ivan has told you guys that we cannot have the Black Templars. But most of the time when the design team are doing anything, any type of new feature in the game, they don't do it halfway. They're doing it the right way. Again, to always meet our consumer promise, which is being a little soldier of the 41st million.
Miguel, how close are you working with Gamers Workshop in this project?
Uh, Let's check this out. Wait.
Okay,
I don't
very
know if you
close.
can. I don't know if you can see my library right there, with all the Games Workshop boxes. These are all minifigures. It's filled with Games Workshop models. They send us boxes every month, and Mathieu Fecteau, who is our associate producer on the project, he's the link between us and Games Workshop. Talks with Games Workshop every day. They're one of the best partners I have had the chance to work with.
After the game is finished, can you give those things as a giveaway to us, please?
But Games Workshop has certain a philosophy, and they're very, very severe on this philosophy. So as an example, they don't want us to mix real life with the universe. So I got slapped on my hand when I was presenting myself as Brother Miguel. You know, I cannot do that. So they're very, very protective of the quality of the IP, which we love because that enhances the value of our game anyway. And they don't want us to mix real life with the game. So as an example, my first super bright idea, I said, you know what? At the end of each month, we'll take the 10 top players of the leaderboard and we'll ask Game Workshop if we can take their character model and make a real physical model with it. And Game Workshop said, no. So because they don't want us to, they want to help us make the best possible 40K video games, but they don't want to mix different concepts. They don't want to mix real life with 40K, and they don't want to mix the tabletop business with the digital online game business. So when you respect their wishes, they're the best partner ever to have in the world, both in terms of loyalty, in terms of knowledge, in terms of professionalism, in terms of structure. They're really the best. The one thing I find sad, but I respect their wishes, is that they have a philosophy of if they make a great toy, people will buy it. So I wanted to have them with me to talk with the community like that, but that's not something they do. Again, they don't want to mix these different worlds, and they just want to empower us to be successful. I know that they look like they are very silent, but that's just part of their philosophy. But I can tell you that behind the curtain wall, they are working with us daily. I mean, they're the one that introduced us to Graham McNeil. They're the one that introduced us to Kai Lim, one of the best concept artists in the 40K universe. They're the one, helping us daily with our the direction of the game. So they are truly a very, very good partner. And I'm not brown-nosing them. I'm being very, very truthful.
I hope that since you are working so nice together with Gamer Workshop, that soon, one day, we're gonna see also from Behavior Warhammer the fantasy game, hopefully. So you can.
I cannot promise you anything, but I can promise you that in my future, the Games Workshop IPs is something that I will always stay close to. I really have a dream of making other Games Workshop games in my life, and let's see what life does to me, and we'll go from there. But I really love their IP. I find it's very deep, very rich, very special. It's not a cookie cutter type of IP, and it's something that really appeals to my creative mind.
That's nice. Miguel, I'm gonna let you to say to our viewers something that you maybe want to tell them without any question, like a shout out or whatever, or you can announce or explain something or tell them anything you want, and we are gonna make also our giveaway after that, and
Fantastic.
we are gonna close then this very interesting and very nice interview with you. I hope that you enjoy it also. So you have the stage. Please speak, say whatever you want to them.
Well, first, Yasa, to you and all your community, and Ifhaisto for having me present such a fantastic project. I'm really a serial entrepreneur. What I love is to get very strong team together and have them create value for the company that hiring me to do a specific mandate, as well as for the end user and the community actually enjoying the art created by the team that I put together. You are very lucky to have such an incredible team building that project for you. And honestly, in all, not just my 6-7 year in the game industry, but my 20 years as a CEO of a very large tech company, I've never ever in my life been in contact with such a mature and loving and tough. I mean, it's still a tough community, but they're very understandable. They're mature. They know what they want. They put me on my place when I need to be put on my place. They tell me when I'm wrong, when I'm wrong, but they do tell me when I'm right as well. And they accept changes in the development and approach that we have that are very innovative. In all honesty, that community, I will be always part of it while I'm doing that job at Beaver right now, and even in the future, in anywhere that I'll go, I will stay close to that community because honestly, both as a player and as an entrepreneur, I've never seen such a mature community. So, and again, I'm not trying to brown nose the community. I'm being really truthful, and you get people that have followed me through my post and throughout the last 20 months I've started at Behavior know that I'm very sincere when I say that. And that vision and that love that I have towards the community is completely shared by the whole dev team. So this is the only things I want to let you know. And I'm really looking forward to watch you guys play our earliest build in 2015 and get your feedback from it.
Katie just told me to remind you about the shots, but I think that you already gave them to me.
About the
shots.
the
Screenshots
what?
probably she means, but I think
Oh, the
that you.
screenshots. Yeah. I already gave you the 2 screenshots. We won't release them for the next 2 days. So you guys are have the exclusive. These 2 screenshots are exclusive to you for the next 2 days.
Thank you. I'm gonna post them soon in our Facebook and in our website. Honestly, it's an honor that you gave us as an exclusively for us for 2 days. But may I ask your permission to post it tonight to the
Of
forums
course.
of Eternal Crusade and share it with everybody because I think it belongs to all the players, not only to the
I,
Greeks.
I agree with you 100%. And I'm sorry that I don't speak Greek. I know the interview would have been a lot more valuable if I could speak Greek, but unfortunately I can't. But yes, please, and send to Katie and I the link of the whole interview so we can share it within our community as well.
Thank you. It's very, very nice what you said, and we appreciate it. But don't stay. I want you also to see the lucky guy or lady who's gonna win this amazing computer tower from
Oh
Cooler
wow, what is
Master.
it? It's a PC. It's a full gaming tower.
Yes, it's a Cosmos 2 Ultra Tower from Cooler Master. It
What
worth
video card
a
is?
lot. I
What
don't
is?
want to advertise. Also,
What the video? What is the video card in it?
so please start first, my friend here. You ask me why he was here the whole time, guys. He's not a puppet. He's the lousy technician. Uh, you, if it's okay with you guys, follow us. No, it's not. It's free for everyone to participate in the stream. We share things in the Eternal Crusade community. We don't demand follows or likes or whatever. So we're gonna start it. Katie, you can also join the Katie, you can also join the giveaway.
Oh, can I tell one thing to all your community? If they write to me, please don't use Greek character.
Yeah.
Because I cannot help you if you use Greek character. What is the video card inside the tower? Is it an NVIDIA?
Okay, because that's how Hitbox works, guys. You're gonna, all the guys in the chat, you're gonna see two options in the question that it's gonna pop up to your interface. Please choose the first options, of course. So we started. You can start voting. Choose yes, please, the first option. We're gonna keep it for the next 30 seconds. We have a guy who bought option 1. Amazing how he must be an orc for sure. Yeah. As long, guys, you vote. Tell me, Miguel. We're gonna show the pictures sometime, also the screenshots to everyone here.
Okay.
And show them. Tell me, how did your children react with the game? How did they find it? Did they enjoy it so far? Do they criticize you or whatever?
Of course, I have two sons, but they play. Both of them has been playing video games since they're 3-4 years old. My oldest son is 14, and my youngest son is 13. But they play video games very, very differently. My youngest son, Gael, loves to create video games. So he was like 5-6 years old when he made his first playfield in Little Big Planet. And I think he made his first Minecraft server when he was something like 10, 11 years old. So he never actually plays video games, he only creates them. And Miderick, my oldest son, 14 years old, on the other hand, he's a competitive player. He doesn't like to create video game. What he loves is to be #1. So he's a competitive player. I think he ranks top 5,000 players in Team Fortress 2 right now in the world. So and so Miderick just doesn't want me to explain what the game is. He just want to kill people. So let me know when the game is ready, Dad. That's it. And Gael always wants to talk to David, the creative director, or Brent, to give them input on the design. So, by the way, for the first time, one of my youngest son idea for the design came in the game. You know that in the side of the Pioneer pack, the squig that you have on your backpack as an orc boy that you can carry with you as a pet, that was an idea from my youngest son. So
that's amazing.
The community can say thank you to my son Gael for thinking about having that little squig in a cage on your backpack.
I'm sure that we're gonna find a way to bribe your son and make him convince him to play Space Marines in the future, but we will see. So we watched, as long you were speaking, we were watching the two screenshots. They are amazing. Can you explain in your words what we are watching? It's a Space Marine who is dying, and I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a Space Marine dying. You can see in there some of the mechanic that we've showed you in the 19th of December Twitch, where you see on the first screenshot, you see on the upper left, you see the squad structure. So you see the leader. When you were asking me about the leader, You see it on the left side. You see all the different names. And then one of the things that we showcase as well is the buff that being close to your leader gives you. You get an automatic defense buff when you're close to the leader. So you can see that on the left screenshot. And on the right screenshot, you can see some of the mechanic that we have for our vehicle. You see that the iconography that we have on the upper right of the screen, where you see the vehicle is getting empty. That's basically the damage. So it's 2/3 damage right now. You see as well all the different seats and what they are and where you are versus where are the other member of your squad inside the vehicle, and then you can switch. And these two screenshots were taken from the earliest build that we have that we showcased in December. There's going to be a lot more coming soon from that build, but you'll see that we've polished a lot of the mechanic.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's a huge improvement from since the last videos and screenshots. It's amazing. Good job.
Thank you.
I'm glad.
Say thank you to Kathy.
But that Space Marine, I mean, come on. We are the good guys. So we are stopping the voting, guys. Thank you.
I can have a 2-hour discussion with you to demonstrate to you that the Imperium is not such a good entity.
I'm sure that you can prove it, but it's the lie that I want to believe.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a zealot. So we were gonna stop the voting. Thank you guys for participating to the giveaway voting. So we are gonna present to you all the winner. And
drumbeat.
The winner is gonna be, yes,
MIguel.
Caron winner.
Giveaway ended.
The winner is Martellus.
Martellus.
Yes, it's the reaction of Martellus was oh shit. I'm sorry, I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Congratulations, Martellus. You just won a great tower for gaming. I'm sure that you are gonna enjoy Eternal Crusade greatly.
How do you say oh shit in Greek?
Oh, skata.
Oh, skata.
Yeah, exactly. Martellus, please be kind enough and send your personal contact us in our Facebook page in a private message so we can come in contact with you and arrange how we're gonna send the giveaway to you. I hope you don't live in Alaska or something. Yes. So guys, that was it.
Perfect.
Personally, it's a huge honor to finally speak with MIguel. I tried, MIguel, to let you speak as much as possible without interrupting you, so people will understand your points and opinions about the game and the whole project. I hope that you enjoyed it also. We are gonna post also the video.
You know what? I just want to say that I just noticed Martellus is actually living in France, so he's French. I had nothing to do with it.
No, it's yes, it's okay in France. It depends. We will hold it here. Yes, you can come and take it with your expenses.
Exactly. Félicitations, Marcellus. Tu l'as bien gagné. I just said felicitation, Marcellus. He deserved it in French.
Yeah.
So honestly, John, it was really my honor to be trusted by such a fantastic community. Well, not me to be trusted, but that this community trusted the team that I put together. It's such an honor. Anytime that you want us to be talking or to do this again, I'll be my pleasure. What I do suggest though, it's the next one. So to give more real food to your community, I think it would be better if you have David or Brent, so you'll be able to go more deep into the design. I have to apologize that I'm not a designer, so some of the question I couldn't explain them in a lot of details. But that's really at each is job, right? And that's really the job
You
of
are not a
the
designer, but
designer.
you are a gamer, and that's the common thing that we have between us.
Exactly.
So, Miguel, I think that the next time we can make it when you are gonna have more important things and new footage to show and share with the people. Of course, you and your crew, you are more than welcome to join our streams. I promise you also that we are gonna organize a huge stream in the near future together with your help, so we can make it even better and even more attractive, and hopefully more people from your team can participate. And I just want to say good night to you
Thank
and to
you.
thank
And
you
I
for
bought you,
everything. Bye,
with the
guys. Also to
Oculus,
you all,
with
if you have any questions about what Miguel said in the stream, feel free to ask in the forums. We will answer to you, or a developer or an administrator. See you next time. And Martellus, another one time. Congratulations.
perfect. Thank you guys, and thank you to all the Greek community. I love you
Bye
all,
bye.
and take care of yourself. Thank you again for the
To
invite.
Katie, of course.